Kerala Ayurveda Academy is offering a new course on Vedic astrology this fall. Hello, I am Vaidya Jayarajan Kodikanath, the Academy Director and the Chief Ayurvedic Consultant of Kerala Ayurveda Academy in the US. I sat down with the faculty of this Vedic astrology program, Dr. Sisira Amarasinghe. I'm so glad that we are getting such an authority in the Vedic astrology and also proficient in Ayurveda as the faculty for this program. The following is our conversation, and I hope you enjoy it.
Very good, very good. So, I'm really excited about the program, what we are bringing on Vedic astrology. And many a time, Vedic astrology is taken or projected or expressed in different ways in this world. So, today, I thought of having a conversation with you to disseminate that what is Vedic astrology and how it works, right? So, being a student of Vedic astrology, and we have been having this conversation for many years now, and it's so important without losing the authenticity and the scientific aspect of it. We need to bring that to the passionate students of today. So, what is Vedic astrology?
So Vedic astrology can be explained in several different ways, depending on what you're looking for. Right? Now, from an Ayurvedic point of view, we all know historically, right, in the ancient India and also nearby countries, Ayurvedic physicians have extensively used Vedic astrology or Jyotish.
I totally agree. My granddad and, there are books written on Ayurveda and Vedic astrology. Yeah, I agree.
So, what that means is there is a tremendous amount of information that is available to an Ayurvedic practitioner or a physician in their practice to help the patients or their clients. And in my point, it will be a shame if you don't utilize that information.
I agree.
Now, once again, depending on how we target that, Jyotish, Vedic astrology, just like any other Vedic science, could be a double-edged sword, right? It needs to be tackled in the right manner, in the right context, and in the right way, applying to the situation, right? So, going back to your very first question, what is Vedic astrology? Now, if you really think about it, in a nutshell, Vedic astrology is nothing but a karmic blueprint that a native or a newborn would bring to this life, right? When a person is born out of the mother's womb, the planetary positions in the universe are recorded into what is called a birth chart or a horoscope, right? That simply depicts a karmic blueprint. And that karmic blueprint contains various forms of information, depending on what you are interested in, right? You can look at and say, how wealthy is this individual likely to be? How successful is he going to be? How much disease-free this individual is going to be, right? That's what that karmic blueprint says. So as Ayurvedic practitioners or physicians, out of this information, there is a particular set of information that is going to be more important than anything else. That's because when you look at somebody's disease picture, or how you could help that person, you may be able to see some predispositions with respect to diseases that may not be apparent as of now, in the current moment of the individual's life, right? So if you have access to that information ahead of time, right, that's a tremendous amount of information.
It's a great opportunity for the Ayurvedic professional, even to help them to minimize the possibility of expressing that.
That's right. So I think I have used this example previously. My elder son is a physician. He has once challenged me asking, what kind of diagnostic techniques would Ayurveda have, right? As opposed to the highly sophisticated MRI and ultrasound and so on. So I have told them the most powerful diagnostic technique available to Ayurveda or any other medical science is really the Vedic astrology chart. That's because as soon as somebody's chart is available when they are born out of the mother's womb, that is available to you. So we can look at and say this person has a predisposition of diabetes in 40 years' time. The modern medical science would follow the vital science, whether it's blood sugar levels or any other thing, and would say in 5 years' time it is likely that this individual would be pre-diabetic or would have a serious blood sugar issue. Whereas we could say that there is a predisposition. That information is quite useful to an Ayurvedic precision.
This is amazing, because this is much more powerful than the new age genetic fortune telling. Like a newborn baby's one drop of saliva can be tested and see in the propensity now. What you are saying is, without any physical intervention or anything, Vedic astrology can show you this individual's propensity to, various disorders.
Absolutely. So what it would help us understand, how much of this disease picture is going to be more prominent than anything else. If you take the components of the disease picture, we also talk about sthira rashis and chara rashis in Vedic. So it's in a simplest form, right? The ailments or diseases that are related to sthira rashis or the fixed signs are a little more difficult to deal with. They indicate the sthira or the fixed or more prominent karmas. The karmic blueprint is something that we are going to talk about in detail in this course. Right?
That means the sthira, that can stay with them for a longer period, because it is stable, the tendency.
Yeah, once again, Dr. J, it is not really to kind of make anybody scared, right? Yeah. They are more difficult to deal with. Quite often my clients have asked me, does that mean that I'm stuck with it, right? It is not really the case. I would always tell them, right? It is difficult, right? It's going to be challenging, but prove me wrong. What that means is there is always a hope. As human beings, we are not going to be completely governed by the fate or even a karmic blueprint.
Sure.
Right?
The free will, the individual's possibility to influence their life, always there.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. It's almost like, swimming against the current, the undercurrents in a river, right? If you have the courage and the energy, you may be able to overcome that.
Right.
But it's going to be challenging.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
That doesn't mean that you can't.
Great.
Right?
This is going to be so interesting and so valuable for the students and enthusiasts and professionals of Ayurveda and any Vedic sciences.
Right.
Yeah. So, what are the primary content of this program, what we are looking at?
So, we started talking about the medical astrology related terminology, the predispositions and all that, right? I mean, that's definitely the target that we have, having Ayurvedic students, physicians or practitioners as the audience. But before you get there, we need to kind of make sure that we will have the
building blocks.
Building blocks of the symbology covered adequately, right? If you don't know the vocabulary or how to speak, you may not be able to carry out a conversation.
Without Vata, Pitta, Kapha, how can you have an Ayurvedic clinical discussion?
That's right. So in the same way, we will start with the karmic blueprint, the terminology, right? What kind of karmas we are talking about, whether it's Sanchita karma, Prarabdha karma, Kriyaman karma, Vagami karma. We'll talk about those things. And then we will go into the Vedic astrology chart. What are the planets, right? The signs, and then the houses or the bhavas. We will cover adequately the basic building blocks, and then we will attempt interpreting some horoscopes of charts. Right? Once we do that, we are reasonably ready to look at medical astrology components. Obviously, this is a journey. You don't necessarily need to fully master or be a specialist in the planets or the signs or even anything else, right? It's a journey, just like what you teach your HC course, right?
Sure.
Counselor course, right?
Yeah.
The idea is to get them to a certain level with a certain understanding of the components involved. In the same way, I am still a student in astrology, just like you may be a student in Ayurveda, right?
Of course.
Even though you are far better than a lot of physicians or
still we are swimming in the ocean.
Right.
The same way I always say that Vedic astrology is another ocean within the Vedic systems.
Right.
And one whole life may not be enough
That's right.
to completely, swim across. How much we can gain the knowledge and its nuances, details, the better we are going to be as professionals.
Right. So one thing we would definitely try to accomplish would be get an understanding of the potential of Vedic astrology and also possible limitations. Any science would have a limitation,
Definitely.
Depending on the circumstances. For example, if you don't have an accurate birth time, then that definitely is a limitation.
Sure.
Then you don't have the problem statement clearly nailed down. But having said that, Vedic astrology still gives you, hope. Forcing you don't have your birth time. Right? We have what is called birth time rectification. Right? That means if you are somewhat into your life, let's say, for example, you're 45 years old. Right? Now you have certain history or historical events that have taken place in your life, which we can relate to various astrological phenomena. And that way we would be able to rectify and come close to a reasonably accurate birth.
I was really fascinated by that, where at the age of 30 also, you can rectify your chart or horoscope based on life events. So that is also another, tremendous opportunity. So this can also, I think, my granddad used to use Vedic astrology as a part of his assessment, guiding people, etc. And also it is considered as, we'll be able to tell people where are your resources available in your life journey.
That's exactly right. So by looking at a chart, what is really going to help us is to understand the resources that are available to us in this life, right? While it shows a karmic blueprint, at the same time, we would get a clear idea what resources are available. But then it all comes down to what you do with it, right? I have given an example in some of my classes that let's say that you take two individuals. One has a steady, beautiful piece of land in the countryside. The other person has a, piece of land near a seesaw, which is not really kind of conducive for any construction. Now, what matters is what you do with it. If the person with the beautiful piece of land doesn't do anything, just builds a simple hut, stays there all his life waiting for miracles to happen, he may not get anywhere. Whereas the other person with tremendous amount of courage could put some concrete piles and even build a mansion on top of that in a safe manner. So who is the victor here? If you really think about it. So that's what you need to get out of Vedic astrology, right? You need to understand your limitations. You need to understand what's available to you, what's at your disposal. If you understand them correctly, Vedic astrology will also tell you other obstacles and other prominent obstacles and opportunities. So when there are prominent or difficult obstacles that are there, indicative of the chart, you shouldn't be ignoring them, in a very simplistic manner. Right? For example, if you live near a jungle, right? If you face threats from wild animals, right? If that is indicative, I'm not saying the chart would indicate that, and something equivalent to that in your life is indicative with the chart. That is not to be ignored.
Sure.
Right? But you need to take it for what it is and take that guidance.
Sure.
In the same way, the opportunities are there, but don't go and embrace them 100 or 200%. Take it for what it is, what the promise given by to you with the support of an astrologist.
Sure. Great. You know, Doc, I've been always fascinated. Last few years, we have been together. You as a teacher, I know you as a Vedic astrologer. So many people got helped by your guidance. I witnessed that. I'm really grateful for what you are doing for the community and your willingness to share this knowledge. Because you being a scientist, you know, you are into robotic surgery management and as a, you know, biomedical engineer and getting fascinated by Ayurveda and yoga and going that much depth. It's a blessing for us. You are here for a reason, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. D. I think God is kind of smiling on me, directing me to these fascinating divine sciences. Thank you very much.
Thank you.